There is a kind of pain that does not announce itself. It does not arrive with tears or anger or obvious suffering. It arrives quietly, and one day you realize you are not feeling much of anything at all. Not sadness, not joy, not excitement, just a strange, hollow stillness. And the most confusing part is, your life looks fine from the outside, but inside, something feels permanently switched off. If that sounds familiar, stay with me, because what you are experiencing has a name, a cause, and a reason, and none of it means you are broken. You probably remember a time when you felt things more deeply, when music moved you, when small moments meant something, when you could feel genuine excitement about the future. And then, slowly, without realizing it, that depth began to disappear. Now you go through your days, you function, you respond, but it feels like you are watching your own life from behind glass, present but not quite there. You laugh when something is funny, but it fades immediately. You hear good news and feel nothing for longer than you should. You sit with people who love you and still feel completely alone. And the worst part is not the numbness itself. The worst part is the guilt that comes with it. Because you think, I have no reason to feel this way. Other people have real problems. What is wrong with me? Here's what nobody tells you about emotional numbness. It is not emptiness, it is protection. Your nervous system is not broken. It learned something. It learned that feeling too much for too long without relief is dangerous. So it did what any intelligent system does under sustained pressure. It turned the volume down. Psychologists call this emotional blunting, a state where the brain's emotional processing circuits reduce their activity to manage overwhelming or chronic stress. It is not weakness, it is adaptation. Think of it like a circuit breaker in your home. When too much electricity flows through at once, the breaker trips, not because the system failed, but because the system protected itself from burning out completely. Your emotional world did the same thing. The question is not, what is wrong with you? The question is, what was the load that became too heavy to carry? Let us go deeper into what's actually happening in the brain. The area most involved in emotional experience is the limbic system, particularly the amygdala, which processes emotion, and the prefrontal cortex, which regulates it. Under normal conditions, these two communicate constantly. You feel something, you process it, you move through it. But under chronic stress, grief, trauma, or prolonged emotional exhaustion, the prefrontal cortex begins to suppress the amygdala's signals more aggressively. It is trying to protect you from being flooded. At the same time, the brain reduces production of dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals most connected to meaning, pleasure, and emotional resonance. The result is a kind of internal silence, not peace, silence. The kind where you know something should feel like something, but it simply does not reach you. There's also something called dissociation, a spectrum experience where the mind creates psychological distance from overwhelming emotion. Most people think dissociation means losing time or feeling unreal in dramatic ways, but most dissociation is subtle. It's scrolling for 2 hours and not remembering what you saw. It's being in a conversation and realizing your mind has been somewhere else entirely. It's feeling like the person living your life is slightly not you. These are not signs of a disorder. They are signs of a nervous system that has been carrying more than it should have, for longer than it should have, with less support than it needed. So, what do? Not to force yourself to feel. That does not work. but to slowly, safely make it possible for feeling to return. The first is called titrated exposure to sensation. This means you stop waiting for big emotions to return and start paying attention to the smallest ones. The brain registers sensation before it registers emotion. So begin with physical noticing: the temperature of water when you wash your hands, the weight of a blanket, the texture of something rough or smooth. This is not mindfulness as a performance. This is teaching your nervous system, slowly, that sensation is safe again. When the body feels safe to notice small things, the emotional system slowly begins to come back online. The second is reducing chronic suppression. Most emotionally numb people have developed a habit, not always consciously, of interrupting their own emotional experience. A feeling begins to rise, and immediately you distract, you scroll, you eat, you busy yourself. Not because you are weak, because at some point feeling was too much, and distraction was the only tool available. The practice here is simple but uncomfortable. When something begins to rise, give it 60 seconds before you redirect. You don't have to feel it fully. You don't have to understand it. Just sit with it for 60 seconds without escaping. Research on emotional processing shows that when feelings are allowed even brief, uninterrupted presence, their intensity reduces rather than increases. The fear of feeling is almost always worse than the feeling itself. The third is reconnecting with meaning through micro-experiences. Numbness often arrives when nothing feels like it matters, and the mistake most people make is waiting for something significant to restore that sense of meaning. But meaning does not return through grand moments. It returns through accumulation of small ones. One conversation that felt slightly real, one moment outside where something in the light caught your attention, one piece of music that reached something in you even for 4 seconds. These are not small things. These are the first signals that the system is coming back. Psychologists studying post-traumatic growth found that recovery doesn't happen in breakthroughs. It happens in what they called ordinary magic, unremarkable moments that quietly restore the sense that life has texture. Start collecting them, even when they feel insignificant. The fourth is addressing what created the load. Emotional numbness is a response to something: chronic stress, a relationship that asked too much, a grief that was never fully processed, years of performing wellness while quietly falling apart. You don't have to solve it all at once, but you have to be honest, at least with yourself, about what the original weight was, because the circuit breaker will keep tripping until the electrical load actually changes. This might mean a conversation you've been avoiding, a boundary you've been afraid to set, a loss you haven't allowed yourself to fully grieve. Not all at once, but honestly and with support where you can find it. Here's the simple model to hold all of this together. Think of your emotional world as a river. Numbness is not a dry riverbed. The water is still there. It has just gone underground, moving beneath the surface where it cannot be seen. The work is not to force the water back up. The work is to remove the pressure that drove it underground. Safety, sensation, small moments, honesty about the weight, and slowly the water finds its way back. Not in a flood, in a quiet return. You've probably spent a long time wondering if you will ever feel like yourself again, if the color will come back, if things will matter again. The fact that you're asking that question, the fact that the absence of feeling bothers you, means something. It means the part of you that wants to be alive to your own life is still there, still waiting, still patient. You didn't lose yourself. You protected yourself, and protection, when it is no longer needed, can be released. Not all at once, but enough, one small moment at a time.